fine, but I don't know. So this is how film was used to mold Africans into laborers during the colonization era.
The European talking. Well, sit down and find out what he's saying. The European is the provincial agriculturist, and he is just finishing telling the people about good and bad maize crops.
In the Rhodesian era, aka now Zimbabwe, amongst many things, the British came to Rhodesia with an aim to get cheap labor at the expense of the local African people. For example, mining, farming. So the goal was to turn Africa into a money-making project. So therefore, cinema was one medium created to mold Africans into laborers. It was labeled the Bantu Educational Cinema Experiment. Experimental films were produced with an aim to turn Africa and Africans into loyal servants of the British Empire. These films had to be a medium for adult education. So these films had to follow a certain criteria. They had to enforce an apartheid-like thinking. They had to obtain a strong moral message. They had to be instructional for the native audience as well. Operations began in September 1948, headquarters in Salisbury, which is now Harare. Some of the films produced include The Two Farmers, a film that distinguishes the qualities of a good farmer and of a bad farmer. So the moral of the film is that a good farmer is one who works hard, tirelessly, as well as listens to instructions of the European. However, it also enforces an ideology that before the Europeans, Africans were always very lazy, always hungry, and there are also consumerism themes embedded within the film as well. Furthermore, there is a white commentator who speaks for all the characters. Same applies with Nandi, the wives of Nandi, as well as the Sunshine Patrol, to name a few. There's a lot. So The Wives of Nandi, it is a film about Mai Mangwena, a chief's wife who inspires the formation of women's clubs that advocate for cleanliness within homes and hearts. She chooses different women to enforce cleanliness to other women in their villages. And this story focuses on Nandi and their efforts in trying to pass down the message. After a lot of trial and error, Nandi manages to enforce cleanliness to other women. So the film depicts an ideology that before these clubs, African women were dirty, ignorant. It possesses traditional British notions as well. For example, the nuclear family is seen as the perfect one, happy husband, kids going to school, beautiful wife who confides in the husband with everything, and then also portrays the polygamy family, and that family is portrayed to have filthy wives, dirty houses, poor, possessing ripped clothes, naughty kids, and an unhappy husband. The chief's wife has tea parties, cake competitions. There's also a white commentator who speaks for all the characters. I am going to put the films on my YouTube so that everyone can analyze them for themselves. So my opinions. These films are well-budgeted films with good moral messages. However, they portray Africans as dirty, lazy, uneducated individuals, bush people, without the guidance of the Europeans, portraying themselves as the saviors as well of Africa. They are all from a European perspective, hence the European voiceover narrating the events taking place. The natives did not have a say on anything that took place in any of the movies. They were just bystanders, to be honest. Problematic? I think so. So in addition, these films were taken on tour using mobile units frequently from village to village. People would gather around and be entertained. And that's to say that film is an important entertaining medium that is visually stimulating and that can be used for propaganda purposes as well. Visual elements such as cinematography, special effects, and production design have the power to evoke strong, controlled emotional responses, provoke thoughts, whilst entertaining viewers as a result, molding society's perspective. This is all because it engages society on a sensory level. Hence why these films were received well by the natives. They won the hearts and the minds of the local African population, as a result shifting their minds into looking at the Europeans as more superior than them. All this changed after World War II, but that is a story for another time. To conclude, cinema is a very powerful medium, and I feel like a lot of people don't talk about the effects. People don't really realize how powerful cinema is,